Hi guys, welcome back. In this video here I'm going to start stripping the floor and so forth. Just finished with the cow, all that's done. In previous videos I removed all the tar stuff first, but just left the red oxide behind. So now it's time to get that off, find out if there's any rust underneath and that, and get it cleaned up and get it sealed. So I'm going to get stuck into it. The best way I've found to do areas like this and so forth is basically with the wire wheel. I've got two here, one that's quite aggressive and stiff, the other's a nice soft brass one, and I found that's the best and quickest and easiest way to get it done. One thing is if you're using these things, make sure you put some good clothes on that are thick. I mean, I'm wearing my welding jacket because it's leather and that, and make sure you put your glasses on, because I've had pieces of that come off and go through 2 layers of clothing and get stuck into me. So just play it safe when you're using this stuff. So I'll do this small section here. And like I said, this is pretty much the quickest and easiest way to get it off. And you get into all the little grooves and so forth. So I'm going to keep doing the rest of it. I'm not going to film it because it's boring, and bring you back once it's done. So guys, just finished stripping it all back again, back to bare metal. Used about 3 of these wire wheels. You're going to go through a lot of them. These strip pads are actually really good, but they're only really good if you're going around, like say, flat areas like this in the grooves and that. You're better off with the wire wheel. These last a long time as long as you don't hit any rough surfaces or so forth, because they break. Other than that, they last a fair bit. Next up, basically I've got to wash it all out now, because there's still a bit of that tar residue behind. You can't see it, but I know it's there because I've fucked up before. Done a whole panel van floor, thought I got it all out, went to paint it, and it all fish-eyed all across. So anyway, I'm going to start washing this all down, and it's got a little bit of surface rust here and there. I'll give you a quick walk around what I've done so far. Next up, like I said, I'm going to have to wash it all down, degrease it all, then treat the surface rust and all that, and then before we even get new paint. So far all up, it's probably taken about 6 hours. So like I said guys, it's all been stripped back to bare metal. There is some surface rust around. I've got some rust holes here, but I'll repair them later. I just want to get it in epoxy now to seal it. So yeah, if you remember in the previous video, a lot of the Holdens, basically they put like red oxide sealer down at the bottom, and then they put a tar stuff over the top. When you're stripping these, get rid of the tar first, leave the red oxide behind, and then strip that down, because otherwise you'll be throwing that tar shit everywhere, and so forth. So all that's done. What I'm going to do now is start degreasing it and make sure I get all that tar residue off, because otherwise the paint will not stick to that stuff. So guys, I just mixed up some degreaser. I'm going to start spraying it all down, then I'm going to pressure wash it all. I know what a lot of you are saying, it's bare metal, you can't do it. I am going to treat it afterwards, but if you don't get all that tar stuff off and any other dirt off, you can use wax and grease remover and go over it half a dozen times. You're still going to have shit behind. I've done this about half a dozen times, so I know what I'm going to get into. So I'm just going to spray the degreaser all over it, let it sit for about 10 minutes or so, then come back and pressure wash it all off. Probably do it twice. So guys, just finished spraying down all the degreaser. I'm just going to rub it in with a paintbrush and a scouring pad where I can with this and that. And you'll actually be, when you're rubbing it in, you'll actually be amazed at how much shit is actually still there. So, like I said, I'm probably going to do this twice. So guys, you just scrub the degreaser in, just went over it with a scouring pad. Just keep it soapy if you can. It's pretty easy to stuff because it's got a lot of suds in it, but it doesn't like bubble up. Stuff I'm using is the KBS Aqua Clean. I've been using that for ages. It's not a promotion, that's just what I'm using. You can use whatever you wish. So what I'm going to do now is hook up the pressure washer and pressure wash all this out and see how it turns up. So guys, just hook the pressure washer up, pressure washed it all out, and so forth. I know a lot of people are going to turn around and say, oh, it's bare metal and so forth. Trust me, by the time we get to the end of it, I'm not going to be doing it if it's going to turn out like shit. So I've done it a dozen times before, so I'm confident enough. You can just see there how much shit is actually hidden, and that's the reason I'm doing it this way, because I know there's a lot of dirt and shit hiding everywhere. You can see the colour of the water, so So guys, just finished pressure washing it. That's the first time. Like I said, I'm going to do it again because I know there's a lot of dirt and rubbish and shit in there. So I'm going to get the degreaser out, do it one more time. And like I said, it hasn't flash rushed or anything like that. Yeah, it's all in the process of it. But this is the best way I've found to get all the dirt and grime out of it. You can use your vacuum, air hose and all that, but you're never going to get into it as much as what a pressure washer will. So I'm going to get the degreaser out and give it another scrub down. So guys, just washed it down for the second time. I'm just going to try to pick up some of the water that's sitting in areas where it can't run out. I mean, 90% of it runs out anyway through the drain holes. So I'm just going to get the bulk of the water out that's left behind. And then we'll start treating it for rust. So I've just finished pressure washing the floor, wiped it down to get the bulk of the water out. Now I'm going to deal with the rust and the flash rusting that's going to happen. Any rust that's already on there now, this will kill it. Any flash rusting from pressure washing it, this will kill it also and give me a good base to start putting epoxy primer down. So deoxit, I've been using that for ages. It's not a promotional thing, this is just what I use. Mix it up 3 to 1. So this is a bottle that I've already got mixed, and whatever I don't use I just put it back into here. It lasts for ages, so I'm just going to get this into a spray bottle and we're going to go treat the bare metal. So I've got it in my spray bottle. One thing with this, guys, it is an acid, so do wear gloves, put on some eye protection if you want in case you get splashed in the eye. Just play it safe because when it does get on your skin it does burn. So basically I've got my acid started. I've got a scouring pad and a paintbrush to just get into a couple of areas. Do small sections at a time, spray this on, rub it in, let it sit for a while. I've got a rag here for some just clean water, and I've got a dry rag here to dry it off afterwards. So let's get started. And this will get all in the nooks and crannies where you can't get into, but at least you know you've treated it. And just rub that in, work it in. And any surface rust that's there is already starting to come off, so and any rust you leave, it's already been treated, so you can go paint straight over the top of it. So guys, I've done this section here. It's been about 5 minutes or so by the time it's had a chance to work in. So basically now, rag with clean water and wipe it off. And you want to try to get all the acid off, because whatever you leave behind will keep working. I'm going to keep going with the rest of it and then we'll come back. So guys, just finished with the deoxit. As you can see, it's starting to turn a little bit orange and so forth. That means it's working perfectly. So that some of this cloudy stuff, that's the acid that's starting to dry. It's still a bit damp, but it's drying in the high spots. So next up, I'm going to pressure wash the whole thing, make sure I get all the acid out, and then dry it all up. So let's get into that. Pressure washing it, just went over it with a rag again just to pick up the bulk of the water. What I'm going to do is for the rest of the day just let this dry out. Unfortunately it's overcast today and it's only about 15 degrees. It's better if it's in summer, but then the acid dries too quick in summer, so it's a catch-22. So I'm going to let this dry for probably about a week, and then after that we'll come back and I'll hit it with epoxy primer and get it all sealed up. Hi guys, welcome back. It's been about 8 days or so, I covered it up the best I can. I know I'm going to have a little bit of spill in here from where the water would have ran down. That's why I wanted to leave it for a week. So there's a little bit in the grooves where it's sat, but pretty much this orange film that you see, that's pretty much a protective coating. So don't go rubbing that off. What I'm going to do now is start degreasing it all and getting ready to put some epoxy primer on it and seal it up and keep moving forward. So let's get started. So guys, like I said, there is a bit of puddle in here. That will come off, that's not a problem, that's on top. Like I said, the amount of water that was in here and inside the chambers here and that, you've got to allow for it to all, you know, dissipate and dry out. It's better if you can do this in when it's like nice and hot, because you know, it dries up real quick. But like I said, it's come up real good. I can see the orange film that's on it, so I know that's all good. So guys, just going to start degreasing it with these little puddles here that you see. Basically just a bit of steel wool, and it just comes straight off. So it's all good. Just where the puddles are, just a bit of steel wool. Like I said, it's just sitting on top, and that's fine. So just start off with some grease remover, and we'll go around. It's going to have to be done about 3 or 4 times, but start off with this one. So I'm going to keep going with this, and then once I'm finished I'll bring you back. So guys, just going to go around the edges first, get the hard bits done and so forth. I haven't masked everything off, just trying to minimise the overspray. I will put my mask on later on, but you won't be able to hear me talking. So like I said, I'm just going to go around the edges first. Both sides, and then we'll hit the middle and get it all sealed up. So guys, just gone around, got all the hard bits done and so forth. So now what I can do is just get in there and get all the flat stuff done. So guys, there you go. I've got one coat down on it. Isn't it amazing once you have one colour across everything how much great it looks? So I've got one coat on. I'll let it dry for about half an hour, 40 minutes, do a second coat, and that's about it for this section. So keep an eye out for the next one guys. Cheers.